Hello and welcome to the Audio Dad Chronicles. I'm Shale, and this is Saturn. And today, we're going to dive further into the world of BTS by watching Taylor Murray's Guide. Are you just going to chew on my hand the whole time? Are you? Hi, how's it going, my guy? So we're back, and we're going to dive a little further into the backstory of BTS by watching Taylor Murray's Guide, because I come to understand that it's important to the journey. The Army really wants me to see it, and I'm really curious to get into it more, to learn more about their history and their backstory before we continue to dive further into their music, which we most certainly will be. So he seems pretty content just to sit here for now. We'll see how long that lasts. But for now, let's just hit play and let this get going, and we will do our best to pause without disturbing, because he's comfy. Wow. I think, my guy, pretty cool, aren't they? All right, here we go. So is this going to be narrated, or are we going to be pausing it a bit to do some reading? I guess we'll find out quickly enough. That's an impressive history so far. Wow.
방탄 소년단
2019 멜론 뮤직 어워드 올해의 아티스트.
Dang. Well deserved. Hard work pays. Oh? That's amazing. Oh, I think he's done. That looks like a good spot to stop. I think something has caught his interest. You ready to move on, my guy? You went down? See? I think he spotted something in the wild. The large bay window right next to us, now that we've relocated our space here into a different corner of the room. And he is currently staring out at the back. There's a green space and river just outside that window. So I think something has caught Saturn's attention, so we may not see him for a little bit, or the duration of this video. So far, it looks like there's going to be a little bit of reading involved, so maybe that one less distraction from me is probably a good thing. I'm not sure if this is going to be narrated at any point, or if it's just going to primarily be text-based, but I'll definitely do my best to keep up and pay attention. And I do appreciate the Army keeping me informed on their likes and dislikes as far as how reactors react. And pausing is encouraged to give the opportunity for me to be able to read and listen and absorb what is being presented to me. So that's great. Always appreciate the comments. Really appreciate the fans letting me know what they, like I say, what they want to hear and see. So yeah, I am caught up. I've read everything up to this point, so why don't we just let this play a little bit more? This is a bit of a long one relative to most reaction videos, and so of course I anticipate with the pauses to react and to read along the way, it's going to drag on a bit, so I did my best to make sure I was ready for it. And he's crashing out. So I got my Timmies. I am a Canadian, so I was prepared for this, and I got myself a large double-double. We got our creepy doll head. He's been a fixture on this desk for a number of years, but normally it lives up on one of my speakers, which just sit just on either side out of camera range. But Mr. Saturn likes to go climbing. He had a tendency to keep knocking it off, so now it just lives on my desk. Anyways, he needs a name. If anybody want to help me give the creepy doll head a name, I'd appreciate it. I'm taking suggestions. Let's go. Wow. That's massive. White House. Dang. President Biden. Without getting too overtly political, it's interesting and great to know that it was President Biden that invited them, if only because, well, they probably wouldn't have got this invite if it had happened in the year of this filming, 2026, and I will just leave it at that.
Group name BTS, 7 members. Please come to our concert. You know K-pop?
잘한다 쟤.
No money.
No money?
Yeah.
Free?
Free. 마음이를 놓치기 전에 See what you want.
야.
진격의 방탄소년단 우리가 누구? Do you know K-pop? 언제가 이러면 잡히게 됐다.
Wow, look how young they were.
연습 시간을 강제하지도 않았고 생활을 통제하지도 않았어요. 모든 것에 자유를 주고 멤버들이 자발적으로 참여할 수 있게 했습니다.
That is a tidbit I have picked up between the excuse me, the general comments and watching the first video is the unique approach that was put into creating this group in very much an anti-norm, in that they were far less structured, far less forced into a lifestyle. They may have auditioned for the roles and you know, a quote manufactured group, but only in the need to build a group versus, you know, 7 guys that just went to school together or something like that, which is often how many other bands start, you know, in their earlier days. They were formed in the sense that they were all cherry-picked and hand-picked from auditions, but they came together a lot more organically from that moment forward, and where they were given so much more freedom and creativity, went outside the norms of music genres and so on, given the opportunity to live their lives and work at their pace and not be forced into this very rigid regime type of an environment, which I'm sure is natural in inclination in Korean society in general. So that's pretty cool. And I dare say that that level of freedom and opportunity to explore themselves and to explore themselves as a group was a major contributing factor to their massive success. Because no disrespect to a producer, you know, whether it be like a Simon Cowell type or a producer of a pop group of this nature, when a music producer is very controlling and dictating the way that a group is going to be, they are going to see some successes based on the producer and their music and the songwriters writing songs for them. But the passion level is certainly going to be that much higher and project a much more authentic production and product if it's coming from the heart. And I very much get the sense that this isn't 7 fellows going through the motions of doing what they were told, but it's 7 friends doing what they want. Hmm. Here's my guy with his machine. With the rearranging of my room, it will most certainly be off camera at this point forward. From now on, I dare say, unless I set up additional cameras. More on that in a second, but not sure if it'll get picked up on my microphone where it is, but That is one of those, just one generation newer and in black color. So I think this guy here, I'm sorry, it's been a week and it's been a long week with a day job work type place. It's early morning. I'm only just getting my first coffee into me, so the names are going to escape me. I'm working on that. I will do better to memorize them all as time goes on. But certainly the producer one, he's definitely going to be one that jumps out to me as we progress through this journey. I am quite certain.
2014년
2017년
2020년 9월 27일
That's what it takes.
벨기에 수도는 하나 둘 셋.
Wow. They've definitely maintained they've definitely maintained a connection with their fans, and I'm sure that's one of the things that really translates into that authenticity and their overall success over time and just in a larger scope, just having that direct connection to their fans and talking to them directly and making additional content beyond just music videos, polished albums, very produced, but being humans and having that ground level connection. And that's a big part of building a fan base, I'm quite certain. Being accessible. Wow. Quick little touch on the, I don't know if it'll get into it in a moment here or not, but they're referencing some of their COVID era concerts. It hasn't made it live on the channel yet. It'll probably be coming up after this one is released. I want to put them out in a certain order just because it contextual reasons. But I have in fact watched at least, I believe, two more. Yes, two more of their music video or videos, I should just say. And one of them is obviously, pardon me, these headphones are pinchy. Again, more on that later. If I remember, I hope I do. I've seen the BTS doing Butter live at the Grammys. And that video would already be online. It would already be on YouTube, but YouTube, I'm probably going to blame the Grammys more than anything. They said Ixnay on the no, just no. And it's been blocked worldwide. I cannot upload it. Well, I've uploaded it. They will not allow me to publish it. The button is just not there. This is not about monetization at all. They just said no. So I can only assume that that's a Grammy thing. With Grammy Awards, Grammy industry is notorious and problematic in a lot of ways. A topic that I'm quite certain I have learned is a touchy one with BTS in general, as they've been nominated many times, I think 5, and received none of them. And they clearly should have. But yeah, so anyways, the BTS Butter from the Grammy Awards, it was amazing. It really appealed to me. I loved it. But you all won't be able to see it on YouTube. But I have put it over on Patreon. So sorry for the plug, but boink. Up over there on my Patreon page, I have presently, more to come in general, but I presently have the BTS live from the Grammys because I was not allowed to put it up here, but I didn't want it to go to waste. I wanted it to get out there in the world. So you can check that out over on Patreon. Speaking of Patreon, since we're on the topic, I might as well just get it out of the way. I mentioned the headphones. part of this whole relocation to this corner of the room. If you notice, it's a little bit different. Some of the instruments and all that that were over there were in this corner, but now I've rearranged it for a number of reasons. Better lighting, because I did mention the outside world that is just on my right here. My music studio is in the basement of my home. And because I primarily work on keyboards, I'm not worried about as worried about the acoustic space. You know, I've definitely, since moving to this corner, the purpose, there is a lot more acoustic control behind me, behind the camera. But I work on keyboards, I work on the computer, I work in the box, as they say. So me having a perfect acoustic environment isn't as necessary to my music production, my personal interests. So anyways, point is there is a big glass door beside me. Some light does come in. So I'm doing my best to control the lighting and things like that, just to give a more consistent performance. And along the way, I have various subscriptions to art programs and music editing programs and things like that that go towards making my music, which I make no money on. No, that's not a plug. I don't generally release stuff. I do it for myself. But maybe, well, one day we'll see. But producing these videos and for YouTube, there's, different subscriptions to different programs that I use that cost money per month. And so I'm always looking for ways just to try to offset the cost because, being a parent, audio dad, that's kind of my thing. Life is expensive these days. And so one of the things that I have done is I have created a Patreon page, and there is a lot of extra content over there, a lot of free content over there. So I highly suggest if you're interested, do sign up for it at the least as a free level. Then you'll be in the know what I'm doing over there. One of the goals of the Patreon page was to raise money to improve my equipment. I've been fortunate enough so far to get a little bit of money coming in. And so, like I mentioned, I've got some better acoustic control behind me. Pardon me. Hopefully that's going to begin to translate in the audio quality that I'm able to present to you all. I've now upgraded my camera. I have a much better camera, and I'm really happy with it so far. I think it's working out great. And the next improvement is going to be these. These headphones hurt my head. They're old, they're tired, the pads are getting worn out. I'm sure if you see them, these are Audio-Technica AT-HM50s. They are a very, very commonly used model by a lot of reactors and music listeners in general. These are the old school ones. They don't even have the removable plug, for those that know what I'm talking about. That's how old they are. But yeah, they're getting tired. They pinch my head. I will probably be adjusting my earphones multiple times through the course of this video. It is what it is. But point of it all is the Patreon page is one of those things that I'm utilizing to try to raise some extra money to offset these costs, so I can buy new headphones, so I can afford this new camera. Pardon me. Like I said, I'm going to be sitting here a while. I better make sure I'm comfortable. Getting this new acoustic treatment, upgrading microphones, things like that. I'm just always working on making and providing a better production value for all of you. I really want to get some better lighting than what I have going on here. The goal being consistency and just, improved quality of the product. So over on Patreon, in addition to the BTS Butter performance, there is a bunch of different videos. You can get early access over there. So usually 2 to 3 days before a video goes live on YouTube, it's going to be presented ad-free over on Patreon if you sign up for the lower tiers. And from there, there's all kinds of, like I said, there is a bunch of free videos, and I always do put up ones occasionally that are for free. I haven't done any yet, although plug here. If you have watched any other of the videos on my channel, one of the things that I do regularly is what I call deconstructions. That's where I use the machine. Well, I use it as a controller in this sense. I'm not using the software per se, but what I do is I take a song. Hello, Saturn. You are back. Go on. No, please don't knock over the garbage can. I use the machine and some software, Logic, for those that are wondering. It's an Apple DAW, digital audio workstation. Yes, sir. Before you knock over my microphone, why don't we come back over here again? Everything is so fun and new. Cats love that. All these things to climb on. Yes, I know. He's going to eat my hand now. No, 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 knocking over the coffee. Okay, let's go this way. Okay. He's going to climb my instruments now, isn't he? Anyway. I do deconstruction videos. So that's the word I use to identify the videos on my channel. And there's separate playlists specifically just for the deconstruction videos, where I take a song. I typically do a first listen, but not always. But I typically do a first listen where I have a first reaction to a song, and at the end of the song, if it excited me enough, if I feel there was enough cool stuff happening in the song with usually the singer, but not always. In fact, I have recently did a deconstruction for Bandmade, but it's an instrumental song. And what I do with the deconstructions is I separate all the stems. I separate the instruments. So bass, guitar, vocals, drums, typically, and listen to them all. Now, it might be tricky for something like BTS because I can't separate the individual singers. But if they're doing more of a trade-off type of a thing, I could, it would still work. The goal on those, as it pertains, excuse me, as it pertains to BTS anyways, this is a hint. I'm looking for the comments on this, by the way, wink, wink. When I do deconstructions, I separate the stems, excuse me, coffiness, and we break them down. So I'll listen to a little bit of the drums, just so everybody can hear what the drums sound like on their own, the bass guitar and electric guitar. But most of it, the remainder of the video, is just listening to the isolated stems, the vocals on their own. And being that their instrumentation is very electronica, for the most part, I realize there's going to be a lot of different genres and jazz and so on. But I'm thinking that BTS would be a fantastic candidate for a future episode of a deconstruction video, and I would love some suggestions on what original song, live included, yes, absolutely, that is a good display of vocal prowess. And it doesn't necessarily have to mean range. The song that shows the singer hitting the highest notes. No, 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 no. I mean, it can be, but it doesn't have to be. Just a song where it's really, well, good vocals. A lot of dynamics or a lot of interplay between the different members. Just, well, it can just be your favorite song, frankly. But a song that is a really good showcase of singing, which, I mean, by default, isn't that everything that, dear Saturn, if you could not, he's currently climbing my wall. Black cats, what can you do? You live with them. They see you. Hey, my guy. No, come on. Okay, I think I need to interrupt this video and get the cat out of the wall. Okay, I had to take a little pause there for an edit. Saturn is getting into mischief, and I did mention that I've rearranged the space and put up some new sonic panels to help with the noise in here. And well, sonic panels are effectively fabric-based, and what do cats love to do with fabric but climb it? So he kind of knocked some things over. So if the sound is a little different here, if I'm sitting in a little different spot, I had to make some adjustments after literally peeling his self off of my wall because he was presently climbing it. Cats. You don't own them, they own you. You live with them in a house that you provide for them. That is just what it is. That is the life of a cat owner. I'm sure a lot of you can relate. I know Sugar can. So try to wrap this up because I know we've been talking for a while now and we got a lot of videos still to get through. But deconstructions, where were we? Yes, deconstructions. Pick a song. I'd love some suggestions on a song you'd love to see deconstructed. I'm definitely going to be doing a BTS song in the very, I'd like to say near future, but we'll have to see where it fits into the schedule. But I will be doing a BTS deconstruction style, listening to some isolated vocals. That'll be the goal, of course. So if there's a song y'all would like to hear, isolated vocals where it's really intimate and pulled forward, I would love to do that. Typically speaking, those videos will land on YouTube, and that they're not a Patreon thing necessarily, but over on Patreon for free, I do upload the isolated stems a couple of days after the video itself goes live. So those are free. And if anybody's curious how I do the deconstructions, there is a free, excuse me, there is a free video on Patreon on that takes you through the process of how I do this, except that on that particular video, I intentionally used, again, free tools to make it more accessible to you all, not needing specialized hardware, specialized software, subscriptions, or anything like that. I take you through the process of it all. I guide you into the process of how I make the deconstruction. So if you want to do them on your own for BTS, other songs, other artists that you enjoy, you can. If you see any of those deconstruction videos in my channel that you enjoyed, the stems will be over there, and you can just go download them yourself and listen to the isolated vocals or other instruments of them all. So, like I was saying, to get to the point of it all, over on Patreon, there are these stems. There are these tutorials. There is the BTS Butter performance from the Grammys. There's a lot of extra content over there that typically is blocked from YouTube for any number of reasons. Some videos that YouTube deemed they didn't want me uploading, even though other reactors have reacted to it. I don't know how their algorithms work. I just have to work within them. So there is a lot of content over there that you can't get on YouTube, or I couldn't put on YouTube. And there also is a number of different series or of types of videos that we get into over there. And one of them I've dubbed Spin the Black Circle. Spin the Black Circle, aka play a record, that's a term, is when I listen to an entire album front to back. And I think one of the ones that we'll be doing soon, maybe even the next Spin the Black Circle episode, will be dedicated to the music of one of the members of BTS. So very probably one of the next albums I intend to listen to front to back is actually going to be one of J-Hope's. In the first reaction video I did, I got really excited when I heard one song. It just really spoke to me, and you all filled me in that is a song of his called More. And there are a few other songs on that album that came up in other comments and things like that I really dug. And so it seemed to me like, well, that's a great candidate. So over on Patreon, don't know when, but soon, I intend to do a new episode of Spin the Black Circle, probably within the next couple of weeks as of the filming of this. And it's going to be my intention to take the album that More appears on by J-Hope and listen to it front to back and react to the entire album as a whole. So that'll be coming soon over there. Feel free to look for it if you would. I'd really appreciate it. But yeah, that's a short version of the Patreon and what goes on over there. Primarily, like I say, focused on, stems and isolations and doing unique things and different stuff that I can't get away with over here on YouTube for any other reasons. And further to that, to again, assist in the growth of this channel, to, upgrade my equipment, get better headphones, get a new keyboard because this one's kind of clacky, whatever it may be. I do have a Buy Me a Coffee. And over there, always appreciate it when people leave tips just to kind of help things along. All the money goes right back into the channel. And you can also sponsor songs. If you want to sponsor a reaction video, there is a limited number of slots available per month where we take user feedback, and I've recently just filmed a few of those, and they can be independent artists, they can be your own music, they can be a BTS song, they can be absolutely anything you want. If you sponsor it, we're going to do a first reaction to it on the channel. If it's a song I know, or you ask for it that way, we can do a deconstruction video. So you can sponsor a deconstruction video to maybe a pre-existing song that I might already know. Random example. Rise Against, just because I'm wearing this shirt. If you're a big fan of Rise Against, but I know the music, of course, we can do a deconstruction video at your request if you sponsor that, or if you want to go all in and have both. I don't know the song, you want a deconstruction, you can sponsor a full-blown first reaction and a deconstruction. So all that'll be over on the Buy Me a Coffee page. But anyways, enough of the commercials and the babbling. Let's get back into educating ourselves on BTS now that I think Saturn has... He's calmed down a little bit, and as far as I can tell, he's not in the room, so let's try to get back in the video until he distracts us next time. Because there will be a next time. Wow, I can appreciate that.
앞으로도 저희의 단 한마디, 단 가사 한 줄도
여러분이 여러분을 사랑하는데 좀 짙게
Ah, he touched on one thing. I want to back that up. Even a single line in one of our songs. Okay. Before all the distractions and the cat and the loot, yeah, if it isn't obvious by now, there's a little the autism and the ADHDs going on in this here neurodivergent brain. So bear with me as we kind of ping pong around a little bit at times, trying to stay on topic. But even a single line in our songs. That reminds me of a very soon to be released video that I have already filmed. I was getting on when I was on topic. They had mentioned in this video already about their COVID concerts. One of their COVID area concerts was the Tiny Desk. I have watched that. It is coming out on this channel very, very soon. Probably the next BTS related reaction after this one. This will be coming out shortly after I added it, which will be immediately after I finish filming it. I wanted to get this one out ASAP because I've already done the Tiny Desk one and I really wanted to release it. But I just told myself that I was going to release all of the guides before that, but I just really want to hear more music. So I have already seen their Tiny Desk concert. All 3 songs from it. It is a video coming very, very soon. And all I'm going to say, teaser, spoilers.
Would you even have handcuffs?
Spoilers.
Even a single line in our song. Yeah. Without spoiling it, but I'm definitely encouraging you all to watch it. Mr. Stoic, the guy that some reactors have called me the Bob Ross of reactors, which was a massive compliment because I was a huge, huge Bob Ross fan as a kid. I have little figurines of him way back in my early 20s, when writing, producing music in an alternative rock band, and this would be in the late 90s for myself. I was even such a big fan of Bob Ross back then that I actually used to do like spoken word shows in cafes and cafeterias and stuff. And I wound up incorporating an ode to Bob Ross into one of my songs called Happy Little Trees. He's always been a big influence on my life. So to have a random YouTube comment on some video, and I don't recall which one it is offhand, call me the Bob Ross of reactors was like the biggest touching moment for me. But so anyways, I tend to be a little bit stoic, a little more calm. I'm not one of those, oh my God, kind of reactors. And for better for worse, that's who I am. But I do appreciate all the comments about my voice and my smoothness. So that's very, very nice of you all to say. I do appreciate that. But I will say that one of their songs, not disclose a which, in the Tiny Desk concert, it absolutely broke me. You see me get emotional on camera and I just let it go. So there it is. Look for that. You see a moment of humanity in the otherwise robotic way that is my brain. So there it is. Yes, even this 50-something-year-old death metal head, with the tattoos and the piercings, you can't see them under these. You will get to see some more of my piercing. I only have a couple left now anyway, but you'll get to see more of my piercings if and when I can finally get these off my head, because I do intend to switch to in-ear monitors, just like we see here. That is my goal moving forward. Once I can get rid of these and I can afford to buy a new pair because they're pretty pricey. But yeah, the old guy, the audio dad, the stoic who has permanent RBF, resting beach face, will just say, you see me get human in that one. Look for it.
여러분이 여러분을 사랑하는데 좀 짙게
I definitely see them helping me to love myself. For 7 young guys from South Korea, I do foresee them having an effect on me moving forward. All right, we're going to start with Kim Namjoon. Okay, let's go. Main rapper, composer, singer, songwriter, producer. This will be a fun little bit of perspective, because of course they are younger than me significantly. So me, as the time of this filming, I'm a couple of months away from my 52nd birthday, just for context for you all, for what it matters. So RM, Kim Namjoon, leader, main rapper, composer, songwriter, producer. September 12th, 1994. If I really put the time into it, I'm not going to get into it in this reaction, but I could put myself, where was I September 12th, 1994? Oh, okay. I was on tour. I was roadieing at that point in my life. So, interesting.
나이트 하지만 이제 쓰기만 한 빌 때는 진작에 혐오로 어둠 심적은 스틸이 좀
At 13, he became, I want to read some of these, so there will be a lot of pauses, but y'all said it's okay, so that's fine. Maybe this will, from here on in, it'll slightly be a video where you don't even need to watch, because I'm going to read a lot of it to you. Bear with me, classes. Not emotional yet, just had a twitch, but who knows? I get emotional in the Tiny Desk concert, so you never know. At 13, he became an active member as an underground rapper and was well known in the community by the name Runch Ronda. That's cool. At 13, I was just beginning my journey playing bass guitar. So, yeah, I was really into Poison and AC/DC and stuff like that at that age. My musical horizons were far from wide at that stage in my life. They definitely expanded more by the time I was about 16, give or take. Yeah, that sounds about right. About 16, I actually was playing bass and, doing punk bands, Misfits covers and stuff like that. And a lot of Metallica covers. Goodness, my eyes are bugging me. No, I'm not crying. Not yet, anyways. Misfits covers and stuff like that. But a friend of mine, he wanted to be a rapper. And so he asked me and a couple of friends, my band really, if we would give him a hand. And so, of course. So we were a live rap band. We had a drummer. We had our guitar player for my band. He played bass, and I played bass because, there's no guitars in rap. And this is, for what it's worth, this predates Rage Against the Machine. We weren't a metal band by any stretch of the means. We were trying to be a rap band. We were trying to do electronic style music to augment him. But my role was the record scratcher. I was noise making on a bass guitar because I had all kinds of pedals and stuff, and I was bashing it with tools, and we just made a lot of noise and trying to back up this aspiring hip hop rapper who never went anywhere with it. But it was just a lot of fun. We did some rock metal covers like, Bring the Noise, things like that. So it was a lot of fun. So just kind of an interesting context, that at least so far RM was working at being known, being a musician or rapper at such a young age. Some people come into it late in life. Some people start at a very, very young age. And that's, I guess this is already where he was getting his start. So very cool. First member signed. Very cool.
안녕하세요. 랩몬스터.
Rap Monster, of course, RM.
My name is Kim Namjoon, also known as RM, the lead up to group BTS.
So much love and respect between them all.
넌 최고의 리더. 근데 뭐 빌보드부터 시작해서 갑자기 다 좋은 결과도 있는데 사실 남준이 없었으면 아무것도 못했어. 상상을 했겠습니다. 진짜 못했어. 이건 진짜 참된 리더였어.
남준이 형은 진짜 말할 것도 없고 너무 멋있는 사람이고 그래서 저희를 이끌어주는 그런 리더 역할.
Love how much respect they have for there I am getting emotional, for their whole group.
제가 요리하고 있으면은 가끔 남준이가 RM이 와서 도와준다고 하는데 제가 아니 너무 괜찮다고.
내가 빠져있으니까 여기 구했잖아요 아까. 요거
Wow.
그럼 뭐 뭐가 나오죠?
148 IQ.
58 정답?
별로 격차는 있었지만 언어, 수학, 외국어, 사회 과목에서 전국 상위 1.3%.
1단 número de 미나상 뭐知ってますよ.
That is a very interesting thing. And myself, I primarily only speak English, being from Canada. But because I'm Canadian, we do have the opportunity to learn French in school. And I did take it for 2 years, and I would not even have called myself fluent back then, barely could read a few sentences here or there. But I always have mad respect for anybody that's got the capability of learning other languages, to learn Japanese as well as English. And it's very interesting to learn that most or all potentially all of the other members can't speak English, but they do have some songs in English because, of course, it's sounds. You could be taught the phonetics to perform a word, a song, a lyric, a dialogue, whatever, in another language, even if you don't necessarily understand it or speak it fluently. But it's really cool to know that he has made that commitment, can be their spokesperson as their leader as well to become fluent in English. And from what I've seen, he does very well. Like he's a very good English speaker. I'm not a fluent Korean speaker in the slightest, so mad props.
ジミンさんが特に大好きなパートがありますよね。
最近ものすごい言いました。
My brain can't process other languages like that. No way. Hello, Saturn. Are we doing this again?
Made us shine.
예? Appreciate it. 이거 맞나요? 이거 빌보드에서 그냥 형이 막 계속 appreciate it. Appreciate it.
I can't choice. Yeah. Oh, I can't choice. I can't choice. You know.
형, I can't choose it.
남주가 I can't choos라고 하고
Okay, I can't choose.
아무렇지 않은데 그렇게만 하는 게 사실은 너도 많이 아프잖아. 와 시원하진 않는데.
네. 아 깜짝이야. 쩔었다 이럴 줄 알았는데.
Wow. 2 solo mixtapes, along with various collaborations, including Whale, Little Nas X, Han, and Tiger JK. Not familiar with most of those artists, but I definitely know who Little Nas X is. Big deal. Great flow. Wow, most number ones on iTunes. That's big. Smooth. And diverse. 187 credits. My goodness. Okay, quick peek at the gear here. On my channel, other channels will get into the singing and the technicalities of voice and the way the human, vocal cords work and all that. They are vocal coaches. That's their strength. Other people will grab their instrument, despite the things off camera here, or just off the corner here. I'm not a bass instructor. I'm not a guitar teacher. I play. I'm a punk. I bash things out and make a lot of racket and jump around and make faces. That's me. But production, that's a strength of mine. So I dare say, if anything, that one of the things I'm going to bring forward, other than just talking a whole lot, is I'm going to always be looking at things from the studio perspective of the engineering and the equipment used. I'm going to get excited when I see their desks, because that's where I'm like, what's that? And so, yeah, I definitely can identify. Looks to me like he's got an Apollo interface. I am using an SSL, also good high-end stuff. And below that is a couple of Neve preamp with EQs, I believe is what those are. Anyways, I'm using a Neve EQ and preamp. Ah, cool. Never thought of that. Let's go.
제가 쓴 가사가 문제투성이 럽쓰기잖아요. 근데 이제 이가 아니고 만약에 다른 걸 갖다 붙이면 되게 이상해지는 거. 예를 들면 나 문제투성이 바보 뭐 이런 거 되게 이상하거든요. Jin got me a bicycle. 사랑이라는 말보다 더 좋은 말이 있었으면 좋겠는데 진짜
Always respect. Appreciation. So honest. So human. Oh, that's a cool shot. Okay, I think here's one of my guys that I'm going to be gravitating towards a lot. Sugar comes up, if only because of the black cap parallel. But hey, any reason to have a connection with an artist, you run with it. Sugar, aka August D. Minyunji. And again, always apologies if I get my pronunciations or my phonetics wrong. I'm a big dumb Canadian who only speaks one language. I do my best. Rapper, producer, songwriter, composer. March 9th, 1990. Okay. I was just beginning that was the right at the cusp, the start of my roadie career. I got off the ground by owing somebody some money and working for his band, and that led to me getting into nightclubs, doing lights. I always had an interest in guitaring, like a repair. I should clarify. And right from a young age, I got into electronics thanks to my dad. That continues to be my career to this day. And just having that technicality, like I say, I'm really into the gear and all that, and that interest in electronics and figuring things out and playing with the lighting console because again, I owed a band some money because I rented a space from them and couldn't pay them in the end because my band quit on me. And but that created my guitar tech, my roadie career. And so, yeah, probably around March 1993 was when I was first beginning to do some lighting shows at local venues, local clubs and theaters that led to me getting a job offer to go on the road, which led to another, to another, to another, which then turned into the next 10 to 12 years of my career. And most of my life from there on in working in the music industry in some capacity. That beat could flow. Also 13. That's a relatable line. At age 13, Sugar began rapping and songwriting against his parents' approval. I was well into my 20s, and my father would say to me, "You still doing that music thing?" "Yes, Dad. I still play an instrument. Yes, I'm in a band. Yes, I'm on tour." Get over it. Gloss. Interesting.
작업하고 있는 비트이다. 빠르게
간단해.
그만해. 여튼 2013년 2월 17일 슈가의 첫 로그 끝. 하다가요.
Shooting guard. I gotta back that up a quick second. I'm not gonna spend too long identifying every piece of gear in the music. I just want to take it in for a quick sec here. What do we got going on here? Assortment of controllers, laptops, of course, the figures. I'm familiar with those bear mouse. Those figures in the back on the wall there. A couple of keyboards. Yeah, I'm not going to sit here and try to analyze them all in depth. Good looking stuff. Nice little workspace. Very creative, I'm sure.
버스를 탈 돈이 없었고 타도 돈을 못 받고 네모 키도
Relatable. Being ripped off.
Yeah, didn't go. It was just
didn't go. 슈가 설탕과 이제 랩핑을 이제
방탄소년단이 무대에 올라갔을 때 뭐 이제 분장을 한다는 어떤 메이크업을 하는 거에 대한 어떤 힙합과 충돌되는 부분이 있을 것 같은데.
그냥 그런 게 아니라 여자.
Well, I mean, artists going on stage, performing in front of televisions, having worked many television productions, worked briefly even in the film industry as a grip as an electrician. Man or woman, regardless of gender and all that stuff, wearing makeup when you know you're going on stage it's not even weird to me, even in the slightest. It's a necessity to reduce reflections of your face, to help cameras pick you up, to help accentuate your eyes and whatever. So if that's what he's referring to, who cares? If he's referring to wearing eyeliner or nail polish or, quote unquote makeup like a girl, so what? Without getting too much into my own personal life any more than I already do, I am very much straight male, but still completely bent gender norms, even in the 90s when stuff like that was very unusual. And I definitely got a lot of weird looks over time. My hair was frequently a random color. My hair's been every color of the rainbow at some point. I almost always wore black nail polish. I've done black lipstick, eyeliner, things like that. Painting streaks on my face as an artistic thing before going on stage. Absolutely no judgment is ever going to be going on here. Everybody is a unique human being, their own individual, and I am all for artistic expression in whatever forms that you choose to take it. Got a harshness to him. I like that. Kind of a dirty rap. Got some anger. Amazing. My music isn't even the most streamed in this household, so big up. Wow, 136 credits. That's incredible. I don't think I've written that many songs in my entire life.
트렌드상 소란 오늘 취하면의 프로듀서 슈가.
This way, boy, don't dance. You can also relate to that.
내 인생의 전부. 방탄소년단.
Nice headphones. But he's got the new ones. He openly writes about his past struggles with depression, OCD, and social anxiety. Hello, mirror. I'm looking in one. Bear with me, just a couple of short pauses here. I want to read these lyrics. You can see them on screen. You can pause it yourself if you don't know the song and you want to keep up. But yeah, sometimes I just want to hear what they have to say. If the lyrics go by too quick, I'm just going to read them myself. So I love his messages. I want to know them. Sorry. I've been told we'd rather you pause a lot than talk over it. So I get you. Not pulling favorites by any means, and I'm sure everybody's got their favorite members, but certainly from maybe if not artistic, his role as producer, the cat, of course. That was the first. Oh, who's this guy? His lyrics and the things that he gets into. So far, certainly, Suga is definitely one of the ones that I'm gravitating towards, in addition to J-Hope. Sometimes misinterpreted as cold, as she's often quiet and struggles with showing affection. Yeah. Most of my life, I describe myself as being a robot in human form. I was always stoic. I was always calm. I didn't react. Ironic saying that in this context, but I was the wallflower in the back that just faded into the bushes. I was the least out there, the most quiet, the most introverted, the most removed. The older I got, the more I started to realize that, these tendencies and these it's more than just introversion, and maybe it was neurodivergency and things like that. Having some ADHD or OCD tendencies doesn't always make you a vocal out there person. It just makes your brain busy. That can be exhausting, and Sometimes I just sit in the back and I take in everything that's in front of me and study and analyze it instead of being that warm, outgoing person that's out there. So yet again, let's tick some boxes, sugar. I feel ya.
고맙다. 말을 안 해. 아이, 고맙다. 그래, 사랑한다.
A chair. That's lower on my list, but this one is uncomfortable.
우글거리는 거를.
I will fidget a lot in it. That's not just the ADHD.
근데 여기서 끌어나오지 않아서 츤데레야 그건. 츤데레가 시가 형이
That's an interesting word. I'm sure I'll pronounce it wrong.
끌어나오지 않아서 츤데레야 그건.
Sundera? To Sundera? Cold on the outside, warm inside. Yeah.
시가 형이 그런 게 있어요. 되게 멤버들 안 챙겨주는 척 하면서 은근히 챙겨주는 그런 게 있어요.
인경 뭐야?
형 도와드릴 일 없나요?
괜찮아. 너네를 위해서라면 뭐.
I do enjoy, especially because they spent so much of their life living together in one room or one space, the references to who can and can't cook. I can. That was definitely my role. In my younger days, in between touring, because I was, getting my career off the ground and I didn't work for a lot of major artists that could let me pay rent and all that. So a lot of tours in the van, making a little bit of money, come back from the road with practically nothing, touring with my own bands, making absolutely nothing. And I would eventually, you would need the day job in between to fill things in and pay the bills. And for a lot of my younger days, like, late teens, early 20s, cooking in restaurants was one of my things. I started in high school as a dishwasher and worked my way up to a chef. And so it became a great filler job because there's always kitchens needing cooks, there, needing line cooks, needing prep cooks. And to this day, on the weekends, I'm the one that cooks for the family. And in fact, I will be cooking dinner tonight as it happens. The day of this filming is my wife's birthday. So hope you all appreciate this because she's in another room not getting the attention that I should be giving her. So we shouldn't waste too much time. I definitely have to pay some attention to my wife. Shout out. Hi, Laura. Love you.
일기에 저한테 문자가 온 멤버가 있었어요.
그날 분명한테 뭐였어?
바로 접니다. 오늘 마지막으로 사랑하는 거였어요.
네, 그럴 때도 이제 항상 BTS 방탄소년단을 생각을 하시면서 힘내시길 바랍니다.
Here we go. Here's a name that's been thrown out that I was told I'm going to be looking for. J-Hope. Rapper, main dancer and dance leader, composer, songwriter, producer. February 18th, 94. Cool. He's the fellow that produced or released the song More that I got, ooh, I like this. That album, the name of it escapes me at the moment, but that, as I mentioned previously, that will almost certainly be the next installment of Spin the Black Circle from me over on Patreon, where I listen to the album that More appears on in full front to back. Really looking forward to that. Check it out over there if you would. I'd really appreciate it. Ten. Street Dancer. Look at the moves. I would be the clumsy one if I was in this group.
그러니까 영웅이 된 거라고. 나 빠바바바바바바바 이건데 빠바바바바바바바 빰. Let me now.
Very cool.
Do you hear me? Yeah. Do you hear me? Yeah.
I love that he's even not just helping them learn to dance and get the choreography down, but being mindful of the gear, you know, showing him where to put his hand, how to hold his head up to be able to sing and perform and not knock off the headsets. Very cool. Hundreds and thousands of hours of work that it takes to go into their shows, I can't imagine. Killer moves. I can't flex like that.
보고 싶다 이렇게 말하니까 더 보고 싶다 너의 사진을 보고 있어도 보고 싶다
Great voice. Smooth. Dang, that's also an impressive stat. He's the K-pop soloist with the highest number of Spotify followers at over 10 million. Very nice.
You're my hope. I'm J-Hope.
Such energy.
Happy birthday to
뭔가 멤버들이
The member that brings not to say they don't have good vibes, that brings the good vibes, the good energy. You hug them to get some of it. That's cool.
하기나 아니면 좀 뭔가 고민하는 것 같으면은 진지하게 들어주고
He's their battery. He charges them.
주는 사람.
너무 예쁘고 착하고 다정한 것 같아서 석이 형은 정말 이 팀이 없었으면 안 될 사람이라고 생각할 정도로 고마운 사람인 것 같아요.
Okay, there's something that we don't share in common. He has a fear of bugs, rides, loud noises, heights, snakes, and many other things. That is not this fellow, not by any stretch. Back in my artist days, my performing days in songwriting and playing live and all that, I rode mountain bikes as a hobby and got into racing. And definitely had a love and an affinity for bugs. I'm the bug whisperer, the reptile whisperer in many regards. We have several snakes as pets. We have kept Madagascar hissing cockroaches as pets, of course, in their own containers, and exotic millipedes and African land snails and moon crabs. We have all kinds of, have had all kinds of exotic animals, and mostly of the cold-blooded variety. In fact, Saturn is the only warm-blooded animal besides the kids in the household at this time. We've had dogs, of course, in the past. But myself, my whole life I've always been into bugs and no fear of spiders whatsoever. I see a spider in the house, I'm not squishing it. I'm walking up and putting my hand out, picking it up, saying hello to it, bringing it outside and putting it in a bush and making sure it's going to have a good life because, there might be creepy crawlies, but they still serve a purpose in the circle of life and all that. They have their roles, catching flies or whatever it may be. So that is most assuredly not me. And I mentioned I used to mountain bike. The reason I brought that up was my but affinity or lack of fear for cockroaches of all things. It was a joke when I was about 17, 18 years old, and I was mountain bike racing, and I was just hanging out with some friends, and one of them was a First Nations native person, and he was just, trying to hype me up for my next race because I'd crashed a few times, and I was just really struggling, and I was really down that I wasn't going to be able to make it. I wasn't going to make the team and things like that. And so he said that, you got to find your spirit animal. You've got to find that the bear or the lion or the cat or whatever it is that is your spirit animal. And I jokingly said, well, I need something that's more, bears are cool. And he was trying to help using, of course, his First Nations references that would be natural for him and our local community, being in the middle of the woods and the trees and the mountains and the lakes. And I said, well, if anything, I need something that's a little more durable, something that can't be destroyed, can't be killed because I'm crashing a lot and I'm getting injured and spending a lot of time in hospitals. And he said, oh, so what you need is to be like one with your spirit animal is the cockroach. I laughed. That was the end of that conversation. 2 days later, he shows up at the fairgrounds where my next race is going to be, and he brings a little shoebox. And I'm just kind of getting ready, and I've got my war paint on my face, trying to hype myself up and get ready for my race. And he brings this shoebox out, and he's like, I got your spirit animal. I'm like, what are you talking about? And he opens it up, and he had found somewhere just a tiny little cockroach, just a conventional, whatever they're called, cockroach. And I'm like, what the hell are you doing with that? He goes, you need to bring this with you. And I'm like, what? He goes, this is your spirit animal. Bring it with you. So, be one with it. And I'm like, okay. So I took the rubber cap off of my handlebar, and I put a cockroach in my handlebar, and I capped it in, and I kept the cockroach in my bike, so to speak. And I did my race, and I won. And it was the first win of the season for me. And at the bottom of the race, it was a downhill race. Bottom of the race, I had the best time, celebrating with my teammates and all that, and high fives around. And that was the end of it, I thought. But being that you're trying to get sponsorship and, you're trying to get noticed, when you finish your race, you always do that, you hold up your sponsor's sign or your number or whatever, and you pose and you make a face and stuff. And just the moment hit me. So I pulled the end cap off of my handlebar, I tilted my bike, I pulled out the cockroach, I threw it into my teeth, and I posted my photo holding this bug in my teeth. And then I ate it because all eyes are on you, and you want to get noticed. So I crunched down on it and I ate it. Yeah. You do what you got to do at the moment. I was, like I say, I think I was like 17 or 18 at the time. It just seemed like a right thing to do at the time to get noticed. Well, it got me noticed. I got that photo. That photo landed in a magazine. Before I even left the fairgrounds that day, unbeknownst to me, there was a company called Roach Clothing, and they offered me some clothes and threw them at me. So I wore Roach clothing for the remainder of the day. And not 2 hours later, I'm just hanging out with, on the fairgrounds, and I heard somebody say something, and I looked over, and I'm like, you talking to me? You talking to me? And then another and another, and I started realizing all these people are talking about me. I earned a nickname that day, and it was Renfield. Anybody familiar with Dracula, the book, the movies, would know that Renfield was one of the characters who was imprisoned and survived by eating the bugs that would crawl through his cage. It's now tattooed on my shoulders. It became my nickname for many, many, many years. None of my friends refer to me by that name any longer, but it was definitely a big part of my upcoming. So kind of funny that of all the guys that I identify with to some degree, this particular one, J-Hope, is not bug friendly. I just thought that was kind of funny, and I'd share that story. Let's go. I'm hard to startle. I like horror movies. Okay, who's up next? Jin. Vocalist, visual composer, songwriter, producer. 1992. December 92. Okay. For context of age and all that, I graduated high school in June of 1992.
학교를 등교하고 있었는데 그 제가 버스를 타고 이제 내리는 딱 그 타이밍이었는데 제가 이 멀리서 봐도 잘생겼잖아요. 그러니까
사실 그건 맞아요.
맞아. 버스 내리는데 그분이 이렇게 내리는 쪽으로 오셔가지고 저를 붙잡고 와, 전 태어나서 당신 같은 얼굴 처음 봤다고. 아 진짜? 네. 아 제발 저희 회사에.
와우.
부터인가 점점 연락하게 된 내가 먼저 저러고 날 저러고 날 우리 모두 다 눈물을 흘리잖아. 왜 네가 먹냐 이거.
Wow. Bachelor's degrees.
이제 내 방이니까.
그대 기억이 지난 사랑이 내 안을 파고드는 가시가 되어
뭐 이런 멜로디는 어떨까 뭐 이렇게 해서 막 다 써봤던 거예요. 아마 여기 있는 것들도 한 10번에서 20번 정도는 다 멜로디들이 바뀌지 않았나.
간절한 너를 원해 목숨 건 전부야 흩어져버린 빛 속으로
이상 뭘 보여? 화난 이상해.
저 꽃잎들처럼 날개 단 것처럼 흔한돼
Great voice. His solo song Moon ranked number 5 in Rolling Stone magazine's greatest boy band songs of all time. That's a pretty big distinction. Congrats.
When I go tour, my fans, oh, worldwide handsome. Yeah.
Yeah. Enjoy it, enjoy it.
Yeah, I'm enjoy. Yeah, I'm worldwide handsome. Yeah, hello.
Wow. Very cool. Interesting to learn.
이거지, 정확하게 이거지. 아, 진영 같은 맏형이 좋냐? 맏형 같은 맏형이 좋냐? 그래서 나는 그거 하지. 야, 나는 그래도 진영 같은 맏형이 좋다. 그래. 그러니까. 그러니까 숨겨진 뜻은 진영은 맏형 같이.
형이 맏형이잖아요. 되게 위기의 질서를 딱딱 지켜야 되고 되게 이런 사람일 줄 알았는데 사실 전혀 그런 형이 아니죠. 팀의 분위기를 전반적으로 이끌어가는 사람이 바로 진영이에요. 네. 대표.
때리지 마, 때리지 마. 네, 형이 할게. 면 끓여줄게.
자, 동걸 네가 나보다 맛있게 먹어라.
내가 항상 까불거리고 항상 막 와 이러고 웃는 이유가 내가 까불거려서 행복할 때도 있지만 상대방이
그죠, 웃어주는 게 중요한 거죠.
웃어서 저 행복한 그러니까 나 행복하게 하려고 솔직히 말하면 상대방을 이용하는 거야. 상대방을 웃게 해가지고 나를 웃게 하는 거야.
저리 가라고. 저리 가라고.
자, 저희가 지금 2절 서비스 재판 저희가 지금 2절 후려
진영한테 뭔가 행복 뭐 이런 거라든지 인생을 재밌게 살아야겠구나 이런 거를 되게 많이 느꼈던 것 같아요. 배우고.
Definitely love the fact that these guys are constantly communicating with ARMY, their fan base. There are so many artists that just not meant disrespectfully entirely, but they see themselves above that. They've got bigger fish to fry. They're thinking of their next award or their next this and their next that, and the fans are just taken for granted. These guys seem so down to earth and connected to their fan base. It's quite special. Okay, Jungkook, main vocal, dancer, composer, songwriter, producer. Younger guy, relatively speaking to them. Cool. Wow.
제 뭔가 이 행복은 랩몬 형부터 시작이었던 것 같아요. 꿈의 시작.
형을 남준 형을 보고 그 모습에 반해서 많은 회사들이 있었지만
Sometimes that's what you need. He was passed by or didn't win his first competitions, but a lot of other companies approached him. He seemed like somebody they wanted to work with. He signed with who he did because he had connections, felt an affinity for the other artists within the group. That says so much about these dynamics that led to them. As I phrased it before, the sum is greater than the individual pieces. That's what makes them special.
형이 리더로 있는 곳에 항상 자리매김하고 싶은 그런 생각이 있습니다.
15. I can't imagine.
저기 있어.
이때까지 저 이제 15살 올라와가지고 옆에서 되게
When I was in high school, I was one of the only musician types, not to say that other people didn't play instruments in school band, jazz band or whatever, but I was one of the only vocally out there, long hair in the 80s and early 90s. The guy having long hair is like scandalous, unheard of. But having long hair and dressing like a rocker and carrying a guitar around or bass guitar around the school and going into the band room on lunch times and practicing my butt off and trying to be in bands and, doing the school talent competitions and playing and doing things like that. Grade 10, at the age that he was, I believe, if my mental math is right, for, about 15 years old. I can't even imagine being at that age and, just like, hey, look at me on my school's talent stage and hiding in a back corner of the band room and practicing my bass guitar. Yeah, that phase of my life being like this, like this attention and this level of, well, skill even, and recognition, and working with other people and performing in these level of groups. I can't even understand what that would have been like. I was just so much more, confined and small town, and just like trying to imagine a dream, never mind getting these opportunities to realize it. It's so special.
뭐 어떻게 보면 저를 키운 거죠. 예. 그래서 옆에서 이렇게 잘 해줘서 고맙고.
근데 이제 정국이가 빠지면 되게 데미지가 세요. 물론 7명 누가 또 그렇지만 정국이는 어쨌든 메인 보컬을 담당하고
That's big praise for a group of this type.
본인이 센터에서 굉장히 중요한 축을 담당하는 파트가 굉장히 많은 친구거든요. 정국이가 빠지면 대체가 안 된단 말이에요.
언제쯤일까 다시 그때 마주한다면 눈을 보고 말할래요. 보고 싶었어요. 황홀했던 기억 속에 나 홀로 춤을 춰도 비가 내리잖아. One time for the present, two time for the past. Happy that we met each other. Now to the very end.
Gotta stop and give an acknowledgement to that stat. Holy cow. His BTS album solos Euphoria and My Time have spent over 80 weeks on Billboard's World Digital Song Sales chart. Wow. And I know there's been various mentions along the way of their different awards that they've won and earned, and Grammy nominations, but no wins yet. That's going to change. It's gotta. But just, again, having the roadie background and being involved in award ceremonies up here in Canada, our Grammys would be known as the Junos. No, I've never been nominated for one, but bands that I've worked for have multiple. But the Billboard is one of those awards that have always been interesting to me because I feel like the award itself is a little misunderstood and needs to be appreciated more so. Not to pick on the Grammys, but we'll just use them as a catch-all. Grammy Awards, most conventional awards, the Junos up here, they are, they're decided by the juries or the jurors and the votes and the whatever of the Grammy committees and things of that nature. They're all chosen ultimately. For those that aren't aware of it, to the best of my understanding, at least, the Billboard Awards aren't. They're not chosen. The winner of the Billboard Award, at least in terms of, well, something like this, for example, World Digital Song Sales chart, the winners of the Billboard Awards every year are the most sales. They're the highest charting, the most sold, the most views or streams, whatever it might be for the award. They're not a reflection of a committee voting. They're a reflection of the audience's listening and purchasing. So to me, billboards have always been one of the awards that carried the most weight because they're a direct reflection of the fan base. So, big deal. He sings BTS's webtoon track, Stay Alive, produced by Suga. which was the fastest Korean original soundtrack to reach 100 million streams on Spotify. Wow. Not to get into my music at all, because I'm not getting into my music at all, but when I write and compose, my goal is soundtracks. I don't think melodically from a lyrical perspective. I think of scoring visuals. That's where my mindset is at. I don't sing. I don't bring in singers. I don't write lyrics. I produce for visuals. I produce for concepts and themes and feelings and so on. But so anyway, to have 100 million streams on Spotify for a soundtrack, wow, wow.
방탄소년단입니다. 방탄소년단.
방탄소년단이에요?
방탄소년단 전국 선수.
And just to call back here, because I mentioned the Bob Ross thing. Beautiful painting. Very Bob Ross-like. Bob Ross is all about painting nature and not putting people in his paintings. Love that.
나도 놀랐어. 전국이 밤로스야, 밤로스.
뭐냐?
Love it. Love it, love it, love it. I mentioned it even in my early days when I had a song that quite literally had a segment dedicated to Bob Ross and Happy Little Trees. Even the artwork that I created, Photoshop way back in the day for it was a direct reflection of that. I took a photograph or a still of Bob Ross at his easel painting. It's a famous photo of him. And I removed the painting of it and I put a spaceship instead. Our lyrics were very silly. To compare them to anything, they were very Primus-like in that we gave a life to or character to inanimate objects. We had songs about being an apple, songs about being a tornado, and songs that, various quirky and fun songs like that. And a lot of our songs were about aliens in a fun way. We had an affinity for aliens and spaceships and gray guys and stuff. And so when I made our first album cover or EP cover, I had to incorporate the Bob Ross into it, and it had a spaceship on it. But I had such a love for industrial metal. Like I said, I'm a metalhead at heart, and Ministry was one of my favorite artists at the time, still are too, and really. And they have a famous album known as Jesus Built Your Hot Rod. Or Jesus Built My Hot Rod. And it's a picture of an engine, like a car engine on it. So I took out the engine, put in a spaceship, put in Bob Ross instead because it looked like an easel to me. And that EP was called Bob Ross Built My Spaceship. Anyway. Cool drums.
This isn't real. It's all in my head, I can feel it. I'm imagining this, can I wake up? Like an arrow in the blue sky, 또 하루쯤마다 곁을.
진짜 그러네. 울지. 정국이 어떡해.
I can relate to being the sensitive one, despite being the stoic. When you get me in the feels, you get me.
아유 우리 정국이 귀여운 거 이쁜 거 마음 열리고 누가 열이지 몸만 안 열이지.
Wow.
청구에 넣어야지 청구에 넣어야지. 아니 하지마 아야 미안해 내 잘못했어. 너 잘못했어. 진짜 안 할게 진짜 안 할게 진짜.
왜 별이 없이 공허한 건지 그저 몇 시간 잘못만 때리는 게임. Oh, don't you worry, I'll be there whenever you want me.
Okay, next up we have V. vocalist, dancer, composer, producer, songwriter. I would say a lot of them are born in December. Not sure if that means anything, just an observation.
V, is it true that you never actually intended on auditioning for BTS? You just went to the audition to support your friend.
True.
Wow.
2011년 여름쯤에 빅히트 오디션을 한번 본 적이 있었는데 그때 야 너도 볼래? 구경꾼이던 제가 네 저 볼래요 해가지고 춤추고 또 없어 노래도 하고 또 없어 비트박스하고 또 없어 랩하고 또 없어 색소폰 가져와서 색소폰
Wow,
이제
saxophone.
없어요. 그래서 이제 없었는데 게임방에서 게임을 하던 저한테 연락이 와서 여보세요. 대구에서 나 한 명만 뽑혔대요.
2013년 7월 10일 V의 첫 단독.
Interesting.
짝짝짝짝. 나는 일단 오래전부터 멤버들이랑 같이 생활했다. 6명 그룹일 줄 알았던 방탄이 7명이
기다립니다.
Wow.
잘난 것 하나 없는데 단 하나란 걸 알아서 내가 꼭 갖고 싶지만 숨겨도 감춰도 지워지지 않아. So cry, please turn my eyes.
His song Sweet Night for the drama Itaewon Class holds the record for the most number ones in iTunes history.
보라 색깔의 뜻이 뭔지 아세요?
보라색이요.
빨주노초 파란보의 보라색이 마지막 색깔이잖아요. 제 보라색은 상대방을 믿고 서로 오랫동안 사랑하자라는 의미인데요. 근데 저는 그 뜻처럼 영원히 오랫동안
Cool. It's always neat seeing other instruments than the conventional ones I'm used to in punk and metal.
굉장히 독특하고 장난기가 많고 어디로 튈 줄 모르는 어떻게 보면은 우리 중에 가장 사람다운 애가 아니었나.
이거는 자 가자. 설마. 왜?
야, 얘는 딴네요.
누가 딴데?
항상 결과잖아.
I mean, I get it. You're opening a can, you're drinking.
수능 잘했다 혹시 손 들어보실래요?
저 수학 어워드.
무슨 어워드?
자, 시작하겠습니다.
그래미.
Jimin, vocalist, main dancer, composer, songwriter, producer. All right.
세상이 어제와 달라 그냥 너의 꿈으로 네가 날 불렀을 땐 넌 나의 꽃으로 기다렸던 것처럼 물길이 돌아요.
Very cool. Rightfully so.
Tell them Bangtan is dancing on the floor.
Wow, very high.
네, 정말 천성이 너무 이타적인 친구고 자신보다 굉장히 남이나 혹은 이 팀을 더 배려하는 뭐 무대나 이런 그런 부분에 있어서도 굉장히 사람을 이제 홀리게 하는 되게 재능이 있고 굉장히 무대에서 큰 축을 담당하는 굉장히 멋진 전방위 아이돌이 아닌가.
His solo track Promise, the most streamed SoundCloud song of all time, with over 300 million streams. Wow. Somewhere out there is a SoundCloud with some of my music, my original music on it, and I was pretty happy when I got 100 views. I can't even relate. Jimin and V's duet Friends, co-written and produced by Jimin, was featured in the movie Eternals. Big Marvel MCU fan, read the comic books my whole life. I'm going to have to watch that again and listen for it. He looks familiar. Definitely have seen him in a couple of movies.
I'm C guy.
Oh damn bro.
Pretty sexy lovely 아니었어? Pretty sexy lovely sweet guy.
아말모 넘버원가?
내가 어리광을 아니죠 그건 형. 아니야 지민이.
잘못했지. 아니 잘못했지.
Amazing. Black belt even. Wow. Makes sense for the dancing though.
우리 오셨어. 아니에요. 여기 아니에요. 안 몰라요, 여러분. 모른 척 해주세요. 실수. 진짜 실수다, 이거는.
시작할 때부터 부족한 거 많고 되게 보잘것 없고 되게 아무것도 없는 저였는데 우리 멤버들이 저 도와주고 이끌어주고 해서 되게 여기까지 올 수 있었고 되게 멤버들이랑 함께 하면서 되게 행복하다고 느꼈고 우리 멤버들 진짜 멋있어요, 진짜. 여러분 방탄 멋있죠?
The ARMY is unlike anything else, without a doubt. A special group of fans.
Actually, a lot of people are very curious about this, but it's very simple. There's 100% of success, and I'll give 50, I'll give half to the armies. We put like 5% each, like 5% value.
So he's not the math one.
And I give 15% to the Highland Big.
Oh, okay.
If it's a trophy, my percent is like 5. I always try to realize that.
Such humility.
And it really helps me keep myself down to earth. And I think it's really important to survive in this crazy industry.
Good people. Relatable. They were very protective of me, or protective of BTS, when I first spoke or misspoke. Just misunderstood, that's all. Now that's a spread. BTS has been the leader of Billboard's Social 50 for 210 plus weeks. Holy cow. Which measures artists' social media activity, fan engagement, and weekly song plays. Crazy.
The Korean band BTS donated $1 million to Black Lives Matter. Well, on seeing this news, BTS fans, known as the BTS Army, pledged to match their donation, raising another $1 million in less than 24 hours.
It starts off thinking, what do the boys love? And what are the things we can do in their name?
That's pretty special for sure. Crazy. Those are some amazing statistics. Gotta back that up. I didn't catch the map for my area. It's there. I'm not going to name it directly, but it's there. It's represented.
The armies, I know, and the BTS, you all know, we're all strong. We'll find a way. We always have. If there's no way, let's draw the map, the whole map again.
Wow.
Wow.
Cannot imagine what that felt like. Holy crap. I'll let this play out just because. You never know, don't want to miss anything at the end. But I think it's just credits. I say just, but I don't mean that disrespectfully, certainly. Very cool. And there it is. Wow, that was quite the journey. I'm definitely glad I took the deeper dive into the much deeper and broader guide versus the original Boris City one that I watched. You all nailed it. For the added context, it was definitely appreciated, and is certainly going to give me a deeper appreciation of each of the individual artists and their songs and their perspectives and where they come from when I dive further and further into the music, that I most certainly will. Stick around on the channel. I really appreciate your support. I appreciate the comments, and sticking around to the end of this one, because I'm sure by the time this is all edited together, it's going to be a long one, but it's worth it, I'm sure. That was fantastic. I'm really glad I did that, and I look forward to hearing more music in the very near future. Thanks a lot for coming along on the ride on this one. I hope to see you all again. Peace, love, and empathy to you all. Good night.